Is there one like most common situation you find people coming in here with? Like loss of a job or
I don't know if there's really one common theme. There's a lot of themes put together.
mm-hmm.
Loss of a job is one of them. Undereducation is another one. Lack of affordable housing is another one. I wouldn't say there's like one common theme. There's a lot of themes put together.
Yeah. Right.
Different situations, a lot of different themes put together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably, they definitely need more skills in terms of, with our employment specialists, we've learned that. In terms of interviewing, in terms of job skills, education, that's definitely needed.
Mm-hmm.
So, to help them.
And one thing we're trying to do is we're trying to break the stereotype of homelessness, that they're just lazy and living off of welfare. So what would you say to those people who think that?
I don't think anybody speaking inside of here,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody really wants to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they all want their own apartments, stuff like that. So, for the most part, different ways of working towards that. I don't think any mom wants her child to go through this. So I wouldn't be saying that they're sitting around and being lazy. And I know they're in a situation where it's unfortunate, and especially having to live in a congregate setting, it's always really difficult. So I wouldn't say that that's the truth. I would say that you have to take the cases individually,
Yeah.
and you have to look at it. It's not something that you can just say, here's a bunch of people and they're all in the same situation. They're not. They're all in different situations, different reasons why, and different ways of trying to get out of it. So I would say you'd have to look at the situation specifically,
Yeah.
throw them all together. So at least within the shelter setting. Beyond
Yeah.
the shelter setting is a whole other issue that they want to look at that. I don't know, but I don't think anybody wants to be sitting in a shelter with a chair somewhere else.
Yeah.
You want to get them into their own apartments. Once you start living in a congregate setting, well, they want to get out and they want to have their own apartments for their kids.
Yeah.
Just so that you know too, it's law all over the state of Connecticut. They do have to go to school here. All
They do?
kids in here are going to school. You have to, if it's the required age. But if you're the required age, you have to go to school, and the parents have to work that out. We don't work it out for them. Social worker work with them, but all the kids in here have to go to school. They can't sit here and not be going to school. That's by law,
Yeah.
Connecticut state law.
What's the age for that?
As far as I know in Hartford, I don't know what the state age is, but the Hartford state law is 7.
7?
They have to be in school by 7. I don't think they have to go to preschool, but they have to be in school by 7. That's as far as I know. I know that's the law in Hartford. I don't know if it's a state law or not.
So you have teachers working here and stuff?
Not here. They don't go here. They
Oh,
go
they
to public
go-
schools.
Oh, they go to public schools?
Yeah, they go, and because of the McKinney Act, not just around here.
Yeah.
They can go anywhere.
Yeah.
So, some do go to Hartford, some do go to other towns.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to work on transportation and make sure that's all being set up for them. Different schools, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all got to be done.
So you don't think that the government is lacking in their efforts to aid homelessness as far as the shelters and
I don't know enough about what happened with the federal government. I'm not sure it's good that they put out this whole program and now they're just cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
State doesn't really have anything to do with that. The state does their best.
Yeah.
Do I think it's good that Malloy's not really cutting the budget? Yeah, I do think that's good. He could.
Yeah.
He wanted to. But he's not, there's not major cuts. The major cuts are federal,
Yeah.
not state. And that's not as much for the shelter residents, although it is, because HPRP does affect them if they want to get into an apartment.
Yeah.
It's more federal funding for them to get into, not as much state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say, because we have been working with these programs for 2 or 3 years, and now the funding is just dried up.
Yeah.
So for them to get into an apartment, to get a security deposit, or to help out for the first couple months, a lot more difficult. And at some point, they're just going to close.
Right. So is there one thing that you think the federal government should be putting more funding into? Would it
Rapid
be
rehousing, because that's where the goal is.
Yeah.
The goal is to get affordable housing
Mhm.
and to get them in there quicker. That was what was happening. But now if the funding dries up, you have to find another way to do that. So if the goal is not to have them in shelters, now to have affordable housing, then the federal government has to, if they're going to start this, then I would say at some point they need to speak to the states, the governors, and say, how else can we work on this? So if the funding dries up, it's just drying up. It's not going anywhere. There's just no more funding.
okay? All right.
Alright, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank you
so
so
much.
much.
All right, ladies.
Yep.